Hey guys, Wuten here. I'm doing something a little different here. I've got a pretty considerable update on how things are going as of late April 2020. It's a lot of stuff, so I'll do timestamps in the pinned comment and the description for addressing the specific thing that you guys would likely be interested in. Also, if it sounds extra formal, I am using a script for this sort of thing for the first time, just to make sure I don't forget anything. First off, thank you everyone who tuned in for the finale of the Anon the MILFHunter comic. I feel like it was a very appropriate send-off for the series, and I'm glad that it was received as well as it was. I even went and did some digging, and it turns out that it was uploaded onto a few other language-specific websites, and it turns out I was pretty popular with the Chinese audience. I'm not sure why that would be, but I'm flattered that there are international fans that are interested in my content. In the future, however, I would like if you reached out to me first, and not just simply re-uploaded my content without my permission. Thank you. Next up, the Champions of Narr'tor and Villains of Narr'tor campaigns set in our Pathfinder D&D world are coming to their epic conclusions. You can feel free to join us on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for the Champions of Narr'tor, and occasionally on Fridays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time for the Villains of Narr'tor. If you're confused about actions or character things or story-related questions, feel free to ask them in the live chat, and myself or one of the players will be happy to answer you. Following that, we ran our debut session for Rulers of Embercrest a few weekends ago, and it was received pretty well by many folks. We'll likely keep that to Saturdays on a roughly bi-weekly schedule, depending on how schedules work out for the most of the group. It is 10 players after all, so scheduling around all those different timelines can be pretty rough sometimes. Now onto the stuff that most of you are here for, voice acting and my next audio projects. I've recently revamped my talent pool for people to submit their voice reels to me to look at and consider for new acting talent. Now it's as easy as entering your email and either submitting an audio file or a YouTube video for me to review. This has already proven very fruitful, and I've got a couple of people I have my eye on. I'll be putting out an updated video with the exact instructions on what I want to hear, but feel free to submit your audio clips in the meantime. There is no limit on the amount of times that you submit, as long as you don't flood me with files. Next order of business, I've mentioned this in a few posts already, but my next project is, in fact, a Clopfic. I know that a lot of people have waited patiently for another one, and unfortunately, I'm mostly to blame for that. In the last few years especially, I've wanted to make sure that I'm always pushing my quality up to the nth degree. Sadly, this also means that for a lot of the time, that equates to unnecessary delays on audio projects that would otherwise be out for your listening. I'm trying to get better at that, but when you've been at it for over 8 years, it's hard to justify putting out a less than ideal product for the sake of my audience. I have never posted anything that I didn't enjoy listening to myself.
Star Platinum!
Okay, maybe not never. But I always want to make sure that the stuff that you guys get from me is of the highest quality that I can provide, while at the same time always experimenting to find out how I can make it sound even better for the next one. I'm working to get better at that, and hopefully you guys will stick around during those times, though I understand if you don't like the constant spam of D&D live streams on a weekly basis. Now, speaking of which, I know that a lot of people tune into the D&D streams and have no idea what's going on. Will save, C&B check, what the hell are those? Well, I've experimented with the idea, and I think I'm finally ready to do some Pathfinder tutorial videos for people who are wanting to learn and understand how the mechanics of the game actually works. For $5 patrons, I have set up a form that they can use to submit character ideas. There is no limit on the idea, it can literally be anything. Once they have it submitted, I'll look over the character idea. If it's something that seems feasible or something that I can build within a reasonable amount of time, I will start up a live stream where I build the character live for people to watch and hopefully understand. Pathfinder is a pretty numbers-heavy system, I know. For someone who has played it for over 10 years, it comes pretty naturally to me, but for someone just tuning in casually, they don't really have time to understand which bonus goes where, what skill is used for something, and so on. Hopefully, with these upcoming live streams, I can help alleviate that a little bit. Now, finally, to some real-life stuff. I have been dealing with a lot of stuff recently. Last year in June, I finally moved out onto my own in my own apartment. And then a month later, Brie Lizzie T moved in with me. And then in December, we adopted a small kitten named Adora Belle. There is a lot of activity going on behind the scenes that I haven't posted about. I even ended up cutting my hair shorter back in October. Above all, I want us all to remember to stay safe and stay healthy during these times. Since this is the middle of April 2020, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and so I don't know what it's going to look like down the line. But I hope that we can all get through this together. And hey, if you're able to stay inside, go and stick on a playlist of your favorite Clopfic reader, why don't you? Thanks for sticking around. I had a lot to go over, and hopefully the next time you're tuning in, it's for some good Wuten-approved content. Until then...